I wanted to take a couple of minutes and just offer a few reflections, a few things to think about. Now that I've published Beyond the Chalk Box, I reflect on the stories in the book. I reflect on my own story as a high-level athlete and then a military veteran and then somebody who's really struggled with chronic illness for a decade. And I am thinking about how important mind, body, and spirit are and how we can't isolate these parts of ourselves out into mind, body, and spirit. It's really almost one word, mind, body, spirit. And I think it's even more important to highlight this following the Olympics. We have all of these spokespersons like Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, these athletes who were coming out and talking about mental health. And I think that's really important. But what I think we need to do is broaden the entire conversation to holistic wellness, because that really encompasses everything. It encompasses the body, the mind, the spirit, the emotions, our relationships with ourselves and with other people, relationships with our environment and our world. We are such complex beings, and this is why I have branched into functional medicine and holistic wellness for these populations that are really high achievers like athletes, the military. Because functional medicine, the philosophy behind it is that we are complex systems of systems. And so the whole is definitely bigger than the sum of the parts. And we have to look at things through this very holistic lens of mind, body, spirit, and how each of our individual mind, body, spirits interact with those of the world around us. So I really hope that Beyond the Chalk Box highlights this necessity. Many of these athletes reflect on their journey and, the challenges that high-level athletics presented to them. And oftentimes it was a physical injury, but that physical injury impacted their mind, their emotions, their relationships, their accomplishments, and their outcomes. So we have to remember just how complex we all are, and we do ourselves and our athletes, our service members, our patients, whoever you're working with, we do people a disservice when we look through a myopic lens and say, I'm just going to treat my mental health, or I'm just going to treat my physical health, or I'm focusing on spirituality right now. We have to remember this big umbrella of holistic wellness. And I believe that if we can cultivate holistic wellness, then we can also help these high achievers optimize their performance in their chosen endeavor. So these are a few of my reflections, my thoughts following publication of my book, thinking about my own experiences as a high-level athlete and then somebody who had her life turned upside down with chronic illness and really became quite disabled. I've had to address every single aspect of my health, and I'm still on the journey. I'm not even close to where I want to be, but I realize that if I'm out of balance physiologically, it's very hard to have positive thoughts, or it's very hard to calm myself with a breath if my body is really out of whack physiologically. So I have to address that. And then I also have to work on the mindset piece. And then I bring in my own forms of spirituality and visualization and breathing. And it's a personal journey that is ever changing. And so we need to remember this mind, body, spirit approach, a personalized journey, respecting each other's journey, and refraining from projecting what we feel is right for ourselves onto somebody else. So this is just my reflection. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and just with hopes of always making things better for athletes, service members. Those are the two populations I work with primarily, but really everybody, every living being deserves a life of health, happiness, and joy. And how can we support each other in accomplishing that?